Hello there, it's Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk, and today, well, I was hoping today would be another video on the Opus 286 motherboard that I'm trying to get working. Unfortunately, I've gone further and there's some more footage and some more video to come. But I discovered I've got a couple of ICs which I suspect are faulty. I haven't got them in stock, so I've had to order them, and I'm now waiting for them to come in before I can carry on making that video. So in the meantime, I thought let's play with something that doesn't involve 5-volt logic and TTL and silicon. So let's have a play with that. Oh dear, that's dusty. We've got a probably mid-1960s, early to mid-1960s Ecko valve radio. Now, story of this, I've had this for quite a number of years actually. I can't actually 100% remember where I got it from originally. I know I won't have paid a huge amount for it. There are reasons behind that. This is not a pristine example by any way, shape or form. And I actually had this in my office where I used to work. I had a big warehouse that I was over, and I had a little office in the corner of it, and I used to have this on a shelf in there. So when I was in there working on the computer or file keeping or anything like that, and I was not being bothered by the other people that worked there, I used to listen to the radio on this. Obviously when I left there, it came home with me, and for years and years after that, this was my shed radio. This lived down in my shed, and then after my shed, when I demolished that, well, I moved that and built my summer house. It became the summer house radio, and like I said, I used it for quite a number of years in there, and then it developed a fault. At the time I was not inclined to look at it, so it got unplugged, thrown to the back of the summer house, buried in stuff, and I just put another radio down there to use for music while I'm working down there. Anyway, reason I pulled it out now, one thing, it was in the way there and I was clearing the summer house out. Two is I need a radio for my kitchen that's got FM on it. I currently have a little Roberts mains only, like tabletop radio like that in the kitchen. It's a great little radio and it sounds really nice. In fact, I think I got it on a Car Boots pickups video that I did on here a number of years ago from Smithfield Market for like a couple of quid or something. Brilliant little radio, like I say, it sounds lovely. Unfortunately, it's AM only, and there are so few AM stations in this area now which are worth listening to at all. I want a radio for in the kitchen that's got FM on it. So I thought, let's see if we can resurrect this. This is not a radio that, like I said, has got any particular value. These are 10 a penny. The cabinets, it's not urea formaldehyde or anything like that, which is like the white bake. Like, this is plastic. It's badly cracked. It's got crack damage all down here. The biggest killer with this, and it happens with a lot of these sets, is that all the lettering on the front for the station markers is all starting to peel off and flake away. It is all restorable, but I said this radio really, like I said, it's not a sought after set. It's not a valuable radio, but it would make an absolutely great radio to sit on top of the fridge in the kitchen and just play on the VHF band, which is one of the reasons this has been kept, is the fact that it does actually have FM on it. Right, what I think we'll do, because it is a number of years since this has been plugged in, and I can't 100% remember what the fault with it is. I have a feeling it's failed smoothing capacitors. But what we will do is we will get the old safety lamp. We'll get that plugged in. Make sure the lamp's in. We'll plug it in. switch on. We'll switch the radio on. So a safety lamp light there. And let's see what, if anything, it does. I will also say this thing is absolutely filthy dirty, so I think we'll give it a clean before we go much further. But let's just see if my hypothesis is correct and it is bad smoothing caps. I think that's set to FM. Got some life there. We can hear. That actually doesn't sound like bad smoothing caps to me.
Community cafe in central Derry, and after chatting a while, she hands me a coffee. This is the help of her when this report thought that they...
What have we got? What station are we on there? That's long wave, so that's radio 4.
Yes, and it says there's a room.
And coach it to come in.
That's...
The very on the front foot, it's very closing down from high end.
That's medium wave. That's very little. There's only a few sports channels on it really now. But the smoothing cans sound alright there. Like, let's try FM.
What is the sort of contemporary equivalent?
I think it's absolutely similar. I think it's anything that...
No, I'm a bit early. Yeah, thanks.
Well, actually seems to be
And
working.
they were really helpful, even getting a researcher to look into figures from the last 10 years. Here's Dr. Damien.
What we found is that the
doesn't
rates
sound
of
too
new
bad at all.
cancers in the area of interest weren't significantly
Perhaps this isn't going to be as bad
what you might expect.
We're looking at
as bad a job as I
links
thought.
potentially
I'm sure
in
it's had a
legal lab
fault though.
and cancers. Is there a chance that
Seems to be changing channel okay. Right, well, we're going to give it a service anyway, because like I said, I want to put this... Alright, now that's one issue I've just noticed. I've switched that off there. That's off. When I tilt you there, that's still drawing power. So, there. Right, so we've got an iffy main switch. That's something we definitely need to look at, because that could be potentially dangerous. Yeah, you can switch it off and it's still drawing power. You have to fiddle with it. Right, we need to look at that. Most of the controls are a bit clunky on it and it's absolutely filthy dirty. So let's get the lamp limiter unplugged. We will check the plug as well. I mean, I will have wired that, but hopefully I've done it right. Let's get something we can give this a clean with. I've got my cleaner here. We've just basically just to make it so it's going to be a little bit nicer for us to handle. It spent a long time just sat in the back of the shed. It's curious that though, because I am sure this had a definite fault, and that's why I stopped using it. Oops. Let's try not to bash the camera stand, and let's get you so you can actually see it. Let's give it a good... Got the odd speckle on it, but ugh, look at that. We can give it a proper clean after, just to try to make it so it's not quite so gross to handle. It's actually coming out quite neat. That's coming out quite nice, that. Oh, them knobs are disgusting though. Right, okay. There's a bit of crack damage down that side, but there's not a lot I don't think we can do about that. We might have a look at reinforcing it with a bit of glue from the inside, see if we can make it a bit better. It is quite a severe crack down there. I'll show you when we get the chassis out of the cabinet though, it'll be easier. Now let's see. there's a good chance with this radio that the chassis and the dial and all that come out as one. Otherwise we have to take the knobs off and get into it that way. We'll have to take them off anyway, because I want to investigate that switch which is not working correctly. This is an Ecko, and it's the model U353. Now the U stands for universal, so this is a AC/DC set with a series heater string, and one side of the chassis is connected directly to the mains. So these aren't the safest sets in the world. Although this one, to be given its fair, it's got a full back. You can't actually touch anything unless you're being really stupid. You're not going to be able to actually touch anything that's going to give you a shock. It's got decent knobs which have got actual grub screws with an isolator on them, so you're not going to get a shock from that. So as kind of like AC/DC sets go, this is about as safe as you can get, really. Let's get the back off it, and then we'll try and get that chassis out, and we can have a proper look at it. Now you can tell straight away pretty much that this has already been worked on. I mean, like I said, I have used this radio for some time. I will have restored this radio back before I used to use this at work, so I don't expect us to have too many horrors inside it. Let us have a look. You have some rust on these screws, unfortunately, from its life in the shed in the summer house. These seem to be self-tapping screws as well. Self-tapping, I think I probably pinched them from work. Yeah, because I remember buying them to do a repair job on the OB truck at work. Yeah, they're self-tapping metal screws. Pity it's got a little bit rusty. Might be able to get it off without taking them all the way out, actually, because I think it's slotted the back. Oh, hang on, might be able to get them out anyway. That one come out, and that was the rustiest of the lot. Right, let's see if we can get this last one out. I think there we go, it's come out. I'm feeling the little thing that it held in behind wasn't so good. We can get there we go. Right, let's have a look inside here. I can already tell some capacitors have been changed in here, so I have been in and done some work to it. That seems to be the original flex, but it's still in good condition. Let's see if we can get this chassis out of here, and then we can have a proper look at it. I think we're going to have to. Oh, it's on a connector. That's handy. That's the FM aerial inside the case. Right, let's have a look at actually getting this out of the cabinet, then we can have a proper decent look at it. Right, we want a nice flat blade. What have we got on here? Let's see what we've got in here. That should do nicely. Now, even these screws I'm taking out are actually isolated from chassis, and I'll show you that once we've got them out of the cabinet. Right, there we go. I'm hoping the whole thing will come out now. Tilt that back up. Let's see if we can slide this out of the cabinet. There we go. Oh no, we do have to take the knobs off. The glass is actually held in place. I was hoping that the glass would actually come out with the chassis, but it doesn't in this instance. So there's actually a grub screw recessed on these handles. So we might actually be able to use one of these smaller screwdrivers I've got, indeed, to get through that. There we go. Unscrew that, and hopefully, there we go, the knob comes off. That is very stiff. We'll have to try and get that off without risk breaking the glass behind it. Let's get the other knob off. Right, there we go. These are absolutely filthy. These are going to need a really good clean. They're really good quality as well. As you can see, they've actually got a brass insert on the inside of them. The cheaper knobs, they'll just have the grub screw tapping into the plastic, and they tend to strip out. As well, these are, like I said, these have got a proper brass insert inside, so they actually are reasonable quality. Let's see if this one will... Ah, there we go. That one's come off. Again, that's not bad. Hopefully we can give that a really good clean and get that nice and clean. Let's see if we can try this one again. Come on. There, it's coming now. Ooh, there we go, and it's off. If that didn't work, what we can do is we can take like a bootlace, wrap it round the back and use that as some leverage to pull it off. What you don't ever want to do really is get a screwdriver behind it and try to leave it, because you'll either crack the glass or you'll break the control knob. We got lucky there though, and they should clean up quite nicely. Right, now hopefully we can get the chassis out. And then we've got to see how the speaker's attached. So let's pull the chassis out now. We've got the aerial caught there. Let's try and free the AM aerial up. There we go, that's out. So that's got quite a nice long wire, so you can pull it a fair way away from the chassis actually, like that. Although we will disconnect it to make our life a little bit easier. But yeah, there we go, we've got chassis out. It's not looking in bad condition. You need to basically lubricate all these up, because I think that's where some of our issues are down to. Let's have a look underneath. Yeah, some work's definitely been done on this in the past. Let me get that so it's stable, and I'll get you down a bit and you can have a quick look and we can see what's already been done to this set in the past. Ooh. And get you up like that a bit and zoom you in. Right, can we see here now? So we can see got an electrolyte. Oh right, that main smoother is bad. It's been venting at the bottom there, and the bottom of it is all bulged out, so I'm not trusting that. We're going to have to replace that. There's another electrolytic there for some reason I seem to have left. We'll probably replace that. It's funny that that electrolytic didn't sound distorted, but just looking at the bottom of it there, it's really bulged out, that. Yeah, we're not leaving that in there. Not ever want to use this as a daily driver. If it was just something that would sit on a shelf and perhaps just get plugged in on a safe block every now and again, I'm not that worried. But for something that I want to actually use, you know, when I'm actually in the kitchen doing a bit of cooking or something, yeah, I think we're going to swap that out. It's a multi-section electrolytic as well, so we've got a lot of sections in that, actually, more than we normally do. A red, a green, a black and a yellow by the look of it. Yeah, red, green, black and yellow. So what we want to do, and all the apart from that capacitor, let me get you zoomed back out a little bit. Apart from that electrolytic there, which I haven't changed, which I think I probably will do, all the other capacitors I can see I've already changed them, and these are all 400 volt rated. I've changed them sometime in the past, obviously probably before I took this to work and used it at work. So I don't think there's going to be any issues there, although, is that capacitor broken? I think we've got one there that's broken. Well, it's not very good. I've overstressed the leg on that when I was installing it, and it's kind of like broken at one side. I think I'll change that. It's only a tone capacitor, so it's not essential, but and we'll see what we can do with that switch, which is sticking. I've just noticed there's already a hole been drilled in that, so I wonder if I've had this problem in the past, or someone else has had this problem in the past, because there's a hole drilled into the back of the switch there. Right, so what are we going to do? First things first, I think we'll take that smoothing can out so we can figure out what it is and replace it. Now I think what the easiest thing is going to be, I'm going to actually just cut. Where's my snips? They'll probably do it. I'm actually going to just cut the lugs off the can. So now I get in here and I cut that lug off like that. I'll leave all the tails connected to it, so we know that one's the green lug. And then we've got yellow here, so let's cut the yellow one off. Come on, these are a bit, let's see if we can get some better snips. I don't really want to use my nice PCB snips for doing this, but I'll definitely cut them. So that red wire there is the yellow section on that multicam, and then we've got a yellow wire here which goes to the black section, and half the reason I'm saying this out loud is so I can play this back and I know exactly where everything goes. So that yellow wire there goes to the black section, and that just leaves us this top one here, which is a red wire, and I think straight off that resistor there goes to the red section. Right, there we go. So that's green section over there, that's that one, that's that one. We can now pull that can out and we can find out what those sections are, and you can have a look how, oh, that can is actually just press fitting there. It's not even got a clip on it, it's literally press fitting the hole. So we've got all the wires just holding it in place. I wonder if I go out the other way with it. Can I push it out that way? Yes, I can. Right, I need a screwdriver or something to push. Let's see if we can push this can out of the... Ooh, my screwdriver went right through the bottom of it. Because that is a nasty can. can't actually understand how this wasn't humming like mad. Because I'm pretty sure that's the reason I retired it. It's because it had a really, really bad hum on it, AC hum on it. So it's as though the cans are kind of like semi-recovered, but I'm pretty sure if I ran it for more than like that, a few minutes, it would have started to spew its guts. It would have got hot and it would have started buzzing again. Now come out, you little bugger. I want to try and push it out that way because it means I'm going to disturb the minimum amount of components on this side. I wonder if I can perhaps lever it now a little bit. See if I can persuade. Ah, that's it. A bit of leverage did the trick. I can pop him out. That's what I mean about the base of it. Can you see? Really, that should be flat. That should be flat down there, not domed all the way up like that. And it shouldn't be spewing stuff from the end of it there. So that is dead, basically. It must still have a little bit of capacitance. Right, so we can, well, let's have a look here. We now know what we've got. So we've got 40 UF is the red. We've got another 40 UF as yellow. And we've got a 32 UF as the green. Black is a common negative. So that's nice and easy to work out. And what's it rated at voltage wise? We don't seem to have a voltage rating on it. It must have a voltage rating on it. Yeah, sorry, there we go. 300 volts DC working. So we need basically to make that capacitor up out of individual capacitors. We need, like I said, 300 volts DC working on it. So right, I will pause the video. I will go and have a hunt through my capacitor stocks and let's see what we can do about replacing that. So back in a sec. Right, okay, we're back and I've had a rummage through my stocks and what we've got. I've got a couple of 47s there. They should replace the 40. So we're going slightly higher than what was originally in there, but that, again, that's not a major issue. You don't want to go stupid. You don't want to replace something that's a 40 with like 100 or 160 or something like that. But going from 40 to 47, that's not going to be a problem. Now for the 32 there, ideally what I'd want to use is say like a modern 33. Unfortunately, I had a look through my stocks and I haven't got any. And to be honest, for this radio, we'll get away with it. What I've got here, I've got a 27, very slim line, but the rating's fine on it. It's rated at 400 volts. In fact, that and these, what these are actually intended for, these are for modern switch mode power supplies. That's what these were designed for, but they work absolutely perfectly in this application. Like I said, they're actually ideal for it. These have got 105 degree tolerance on them rather than the 85 of cheaper capacitors, basically because they're designed to be used in like the hot environment of a switch mode power supply. And the nice thing is that they're small enough that really we can do something, bundle these together, and they'll pretty much go in the same spot in the radio that the original one did. We could go up to all the trouble of adding a tag strip and everything like that for it, but if it was a radio that was worth it, yeah. For this radio, for what I want it for its actual value and everything, I think we can get away with what we're doing here, to be absolutely, to be brutally honest. Right, so what we want to do, to basically mimic the old can there, we want to connect all our grounds together. Let's try. In fact, what I might do is I might take some tape and I might actually tape these capacitors together how I want them, and then I can start dressing the leads how I want them. Let's try this. I'm going to tear a piece of tape off. I kind of want them so all the ground leads which is the lead with the stripe, are sort of together like that. You can't see that, can you? Let me get you down a little bit so you can see a bit better what I'm doing. And then I'm going to try and like wrap, wrap the tape round them. Sort of like that. There we go. And then we can bend that one out there. We want to basically bend these 3 legs all together. There are our grounds. We'll twist them together. There we go. I don't look the neatest, but that's basically, that is replicating that. And now I have in the past actually cut these cans open, taken the top off, gutted all the insides out of it, then taken something like that, put it down there, drilled holes through all there, brought the lead out wires through, and it's looked virtually like no one's ever been in there before. And if this was a radio I was doing for a customer and they wanted, you know, the extra treatment and everything, yeah, I'd do all that. This is a radio that's going to just sit in my kitchen and play probably Radio 2 or Radio 3 for the rest of its life, or at least until FM gets shut off in a few years' time. This is going to be perfectly acceptable for it. Right, let's get that ground connection there all soldered up, and then we can have a look at mounting it in the radio. I'm even using my vintage 1960s soldering iron. Let's apply some solder to that there. Okay. Lovely. So we've got our grounds all connected together there. We'll get rid of that excess frilly bit from the end. Like that. I'm going to put a little bit of heat shrink on each of those, and then we can bring them out to the respective parts in the radio. Some nice thin heat shrink in here. That black's perfect. Yeah. Put a bit of that over there. A bit of that over there. And a bit over there. Okay, there we go. Right, in fact, let me just sort the camera out and reposition so you can actually see what I'm doing here. So, back in a sec. Right, hopefully you can see this. I don't know how well this is actually going to come out on camera, but basically we've got the hole there where the old capacitor was. So, we will insert the new one through there. Essentially what we want to do, we don't need to worry about that one too much because that's the ground there. So let's pull him up out of the way for now, because we can connect him last. Right, so what we want to do, we've got the small 27 there. That was originally green on the original capacitor here. Green there is the 32 UF, and that goes to which wires was it now? That one there. That connection there. And all we're going to do, we'll take our new wire we'll bend it on. We'll bend it round like that. Now there are much neater ways of doing it than this. You know, you can desolder all this, but like I said, this is a repair more than a restoration, really. So we've got a nice mechanical connection there first. We'll go in with the soldering iron. I'll just flow a bit of fresh solder on that. There we go. That's our first connection made. And then we need to connect that wire and that wire to the 247 UF capacitors. So we'll do that in exactly the same. Let's just move that one out of the way for now. We can get that connection to there. So we'll just pull him out of the way a little bit. And again, we'll just bend the new wire and basically solder it to the old lug that we took off. If you was properly restoring this radio, what you'd really, and you was using separate capacitors rather than whether you either remanufacturing yourself, you know, gutting the can and doing it like I've just described, or buying a new capacitor in this form factor, which you can still get, although they're incredibly expensive. What you'd do is you'd do the similar to me, use 3 separate capacitors, but you'd actually connect them to some tag strip and mount them on the top with some tag strip and then redo all this wiring. Like I said, this is a radio for playing in my kitchen. It's not being sold or anything like that. This is perfectly acceptable for what I'm doing. Right, so that one's connected. So we've got one more to connect there. We'll make sure that these are going to be in a good place. And we've got the cam where we want it. So all we've got to do is connect that wire to there. In fact, there's a little hole there for that tag, so I think I can push that. Yes, I can. Through there. Bend that wire around like that. You always want a good mechanical connection, especially on point-to-point stuff like this. There we go. Make sure that wire is well out of the way. I'll solder that in place, and then all we've got to do is connect the ground connection back up. And that is that capacitor. There we go. Now all we need to do is we've got that last wire there, which is the ground wire. I think we will actually clean some of that stuff off there, because we need to just basically solder that to them other ones that we twisted together and tinned up before. Let's see if we can get that. There we go. Lovely, that was easy. A little bit of extra solder to that. And we're just going to solder that to, there we go. Basically we've soldered that directly to the centre point where we connected all the grounds from the capacitor up. I can get that can, I can pull it where I want it, so it's basically going to be where it was with the original can. I'm quite happy with that. There's no connections around there which are going to short on anything. I'll drop the chassis back down. Yeah, that's going to be absolutely fine. Let me just spin this chassis around so you can see what we're on about. Oops. Try not to get any of that stuck. So there we go. So we've got the new capacitors basically just coming through like that. I don't like the fact they're just going to flop around, so what I'm going to do, if I can remember where they are. Ooh, ow. Sorry, bear with me a second, folks. I'll take a couple of cable ties. Because we've got these little things here. I think what we can do, I get a cable tie. Yeah. I'll get a cable tie in there like that. Bend it round and bring it back out. There we go. I think I'm going to need two. I'm going to have to put one. Yeah, I'm going to need two. Another cable tie. In there like that. Right, now we can bring that round. Yeah, this should work. Like that. We can put that cable tie on there, tie it in. There we go. If I pull that tight now. There we are. So they're held nice and tight now. They're not going to go anywhere. Yeah, I'm happy with that now. They're not going to move around and have risk one of them wires basically moving around and shorting to deck or anything. So we'll snip off the excess there. Yeah, is it the neatest repair? No. Is it a visible repair? Yeah. Is it going to work and is it safe? Absolutely. So there we go. That's the main smoothing can. As I said, that it might have ran for half an hour, it might have ran for 10 minutes, but that's obviously, you know, overheated. It's blown the top out like that. It has been starting to spew some electrolyte, and even though, yeah, after it's been off for probably a few years, it's regained a little bit of its use, but if I'd have left that in there, I can guarantee it would have shorted again and would have been back and would have only had to pull the radio all apart again to change it. So might as well change it now, and then we know it's right. So we're not doing too bad on this because the radio has, like I said, has actually already been worked on. It's not as though it's just a straight find that we're trying to get working or anything. This was in use by me. Right, let's get you up there now. The only thing really I want to change is that capacitor there. It's obviously grid bias for one of those valves there, because it's negatively biasing something, because we've got the plus side going to deck, the negative going to a point there, which, like I said, then I'm guessing is going to one of these valves around here. So let's get rid of that. I've actually got a replacement for it out somewhere on the bench. There it is. And we're essentially changing that for that. That is rated for 12 volts. That old TCC capacitor there. That modern 2.2, that's a 2 UF capacitor, that's a 2.2 modern. That's rated for 63 volts. So yeah. I want that to go in basically like that. It would be better if we had an axial capacitor, but again, I'm using what I've got. I'm not buying anything in for this. I'm just getting this radio into a state where I can plug it in the kitchen and use it. So let's remove that. It may still work, but again, we're in here, we're doing just some basic maintenance, so we might as well replace it. And what I'm going to do, I will use the J-hook method for putting the new capacitor in. So we want it that way round because we want positive to go to deck. And all we will do is basically we're going to bend a little hook on the end of the wire like that. You can see that we've got a little, let me see if I can get you zoomed in a little bit. Oh, there we go. We've basically bent a little hook on the end of that wire like that. We then take our capacitor, make sure we've got it the right way around, yes, positive to deck. And we do the same on here. We bend a little hook in the end. We hook that hook on that hook. We squeeze that hook shut. We squeeze that hook shut. Yes, that was right. Like that. So we've got a mechanical connection there. We take our soldering iron. We add some solder to it, and that's a really good, strong mechanical and electrical connection there. Right, let's have a look on this side. We might be able to go straight to the point where the original one went down here. Let me get you down a little touch. There we go. Let's pull that bit of insulation off, or at least we can strip it back a bit, and we might be able to J-hook straight onto. Oh, there we go, it come off. Right, so that goes straight to that point there. We're not going to be able to make it all the way there, so we're going to have to use the J-hook method as well, again, just to connect that onto there. So let's put a bend in that. That's going to work nicely. Bring that out for a tiny touch. Make our hook. Take the new component. Hook that through. There we go. There we go. A nice hook there. Let's just take a bit of that off because we don't want too much there. Give that a squeeze. That doesn't look bad, and then we'll just add a little bit of solder to that. There we go. And that's that capacitor changed. Right. Like I said, all the other capacitors, really, I don't think are bad. I just noticed the resistor down here. Now that's in the power supply section, and that looks like that's fairly toasty. We'll see if we can get a reading off that. And in fact, I'll see if I can dig out the service data, and we'll just find out what that capacitor should be. Because we might change that. Like I said, if this was a shelf queen, it was never going to get used, I wouldn't be too minded. I'd just check it was somewhere within spec and we'd leave it at that. Because I actually want to be able to use this radio, we will have a quick look up on that. So just bear with me. I will go and dig out some service data so we can find out what that is. And we're going to need some contact lubricant and some oil and some other bits and bats to see if we can sort some of them other issues out. So I'll get the bits we need for that, and we will be right back. Right, okay, we are back. I actually managed to locate the service data for this set. It's actually slightly earlier than I thought it was, as this set was made in 1959. I said it was probably early to mid 60s, but no, it's actually a 59 set. I checked that resistor. I've just done this quickly off camera. I checked, now where is he now? He's up here, isn't he? I checked that resistor up there that I said looked a little bit suspect because it had a little bit of heat damage on it. It's meant to be 100 ohms. It's about 100, 105-ish ohms. So to be honest, it's 20% tolerance. It's absolutely fine. It does look a little bit heat damaged, but I'm not worried about that. If it was well out of spec, yeah, I'd change it. But the way it is, no, I'm quite confident that that's going to be absolutely fine. What I am going to do though is we're going to have a little look at these controls here, because it was sticking a little bit, as in when you turned the outer control, the inner control, because these are concentric controls, so obviously you've got an inner and an outer. One's the on and volume, and I think the other one's the tone control on this. And we do still have that problem with the switch sticking, so we'll have a quick look at that as well. But what I thought we'd do, let's tilt this up like this, and it can sometimes just help. This is sewing machine oil, and we're just going to drop a little bit of the sewing machine oil. We'll do it on both of them. Just down the shafts like that, and let that soak in, and that should permeate down there and hopefully stop that binding where the knobs were just binding up before. So that's done. I think what we will also do, let's tip it up like that. We'll have to support that somehow. Just find something to stick under there. That. Well, apologies about that. Battery died. Unfortunately, it looks like my my better battery for this camera has started to fail, so I'm going to have to bite the bullet and buy some new batteries for it. Anyway, what I thought we'd do, well, we've got it up like that. I've got some contact cleaner here. So basically I just want to, there's not very much of that left in there, but basically spray down the wafer switch there. We'll get the knob. I've given these a quick clean as well, so they're not quite as revolting as they were. I'll put the knob on. So just tighten the set screw. Once I find the right screw, there it is. Once I find the right screwdriver, there we go. Just put it on mildly, basically, because all we want to do is just give that a work backwards and forwards while that switch cleaner is still fresh, like that. Make sure that them contacts are okay. There wasn't actually too much scratchiness on the volume and the tone controls down there. The biggest concern is that switch. Again, well, let's just put the knob on so we can operate it properly. Right, there we go. It doesn't seem to be actuating properly. So I wonder if I just spray a little bit of some some cleaner in there and see if I can get it to free off. There isn't very much left in here. There we go. And give that a little bit more of a... That's actually sounding a little bit more positive now. I think that's actually switching now. Just keep working it a few times. Right. I think that's pretty much going to be it. I mean, the main thing was I was not happy with that smoothing can there. There was no way that was going to work for any prolonged period of time. And like I said, I really want this radio, so I can just plug it in the kitchen, like I said, when I'm frying my bacon eggs in the morning, and just have, you know, like Radio 2 or Radio 3 playing. So we should be right there. I've actually noticed with the cabinet, I have actually done a repair in the past where the crack is on that side there. As you can see, it's basically cracked all the way around there. I have actually reinforced the crack on the inside there with araldite at some point, or some kind of two-part epoxy. It's not the neatest job in the world, but it'll stop the cabinet getting any worse. It's cleaned up reasonable. So you can see the big crack there, but it's not a problem really for what this radio is going to get used for. So what I'll do, I think I'll give the front of this cabinet, while we've got the knobs off and everything, let's give that a little bit more of a clean. Just see if we can get it as nice as we can. Just get in there, and so the problem is you don't want to get anything onto the back of that glass, because the print's already starting to flake. I don't know whether it was a bad paint that they used for the white or what, and it wasn't very good with the temperatures inside these valve radios, but I've known loads and loads of these type of sets, and they're always the same. The lettering, the white lettering, just starts to flake off, and you can kind of see the dial and you can kind of see where the stations are, but it doesn't exactly look brilliant. There we go, that's looking reasonably clean now. I mean, I could get a screwdriver and get in all these. In fact, I might spend just 10 minutes or so just giving this a really good clean up like this. See if I can get as much of the muck and rubbish out of these slots as I can. It's just a case of getting a bit of tissue paper like that, squidging it up and rubbing it along like that. And you can see it does come out. These do come up quite clean. So like I said, I might just spend 10 minutes now cleaning this up. And I'll get the chassis back into it, and we'll give it a bit of a play. I know I could go like into realigning the set and all that, but to be honest, it was playing absolutely fine when it was used before. I don't think there was any real issue with alignment or anything like that. It really just got retired because, like I said, I think that capacitor went, and I retired it because of that, because of a lot of mains hum. And then just with sitting over time, it's slightly got back a little bit of life, but I'm certain if that capacitor was left in there running, it would just fail completely, and we'd end up with the horrible mains hum again. Anyway, like I say, I'll finish off giving this a bit of a clean, and we'll come back once I've got the set back together. So back in a sec. Right, and there we go. We're all back together. I am so glad I didn't film my doing that, because you didn't have to watch me not see that I'd actually got the dial pointer there caught, and as I pushed the chassis in, actually bend it in half, but not realise until I got the whole radio back together, the chassis installed, the back on, the knob back on, and I went to just turn the tune in and looked, and then I realised I had to pull the whole radio back apart, straighten the pointer back out, make sure I got, Yeah, I am so glad I didn't film that, because there would have been some expletives I would have had to delete. But anyway, yeah, the set's all back together. Let's see how it plays now, because as you heard before, it was actually playing before. But in fact, let's just double check that plug, make sure that plug's good. Now I wired this, so it should be okay, but yeah, there we go, that's fine. 3 amp fuse, we've got plenty of length on the neutral there, a little bit shorter on the live there. This is actually the original cable for this radio as well, as you can see, because it's got the old red-black colour codes, but it is PVC cable, it's absolutely fine. Now the first initial switch on, I will still run it through the safety lamp, so I've still got the safety lamp in circuit, it's just off shot there. We'll switch that on. We'll switch on there, and first of all let me just say excellent. Let me just get you over onto the safe. In fact, let's get the safety lamp in shot. Good, if you remembered before, we had that issue where basically the lamp, let me get that so you can see, that you were switching on, and essentially when you switched back off, it was staying on because the switch wasn't actually switching properly. Now, as you can see, we've got a glow there, a switch off, and it goes straight off. We're actually getting, the switch is actually now working correctly, it's not sticking. So we've got that problem solved. Let's power up. And I'm not too worried about actually having the safety lamp in circuit now. In fact, we'll switch it out of circuit, because I'm perfectly happy now that basically the radio is going to be safe to use. We're on FM there. Let's have a go.
Chris Isaac right here on this spooky edition of Radio 2 Unwinds.
There we are.
Ghouls and ghoulies, your thing, stick around as we will soon be diving in to a bewitching Unwinds mix. Bit of a heads up though, there is no Bewitched, okay? So don't stick around if you're waiting for Bewitched.
That
it isn't
sounds
Bewitched.
okay.
It's just spookiness. Before we get there though, we are staying in 1989 with a
No
little
hum there at all,
called
considering this is an
Cure.
AC/DC set, and they're usually a little bit more hummy than an AC only set.
Halloween.
That
Radio
sounds
2
great.
and 6 Music are coming together for a day dedicated to the iconic band. They have a very special concert show for us. To watch an iPod, you'll be able to listen.
I think I'm actually picking something up there.
To miss it. White face paint, back comb your hair, and let's celebrate with pictures of you.
Yeah, I don't think that... Can't play that for too long. I think that was actually picking something up. Yeah. Because that sounds fine. I can't play that obviously too long. Let's see if we can get Radio 3. There's Radio 3. I probably will need to put an external aerial on this. We're not in a good reception area here anyway, and that is just running on that little bit of wire inside the set.
Mr. Pam. Into you.
But that will definitely do for its intended purpose, like I said, which is a bit of music in the kitchen while I'm frying my bacon and eggs in the morning. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that.
The UK-EU Trade and Cooperation Agreement.
Let's just try the other channels. Not that I'm really going to use them, but that's AM, medium wave. There's very little on there now. That seems pretty dead. Long wave. I think we did have something on them earlier. But FM's what I'm talking about. And that's going to work great for...
EU in light of the Good Friday Agreement, but no.
Basically, it's only going to get used on radios 2, 3 and 4, so...
It needs to reflect the principles of...
That's quite nice, that. Even the little magic eye tuning indicator there's working.
Sorry, just quick.
I might have an investigate why with no long wave and medium wave, but to be honest, I'm not that bothered about this. I wanted a set in there that I can pick FM stations up on, and that seems absolutely great. That switch is now working fine. Yeah, that switch is working absolutely fine now. So yeah, I know this wasn't the video I was planning on making today, and it was just a quick little, let's see if we can get this into a state where I can use it in the kitchen. Hopefully then parts for the 286 motherboard will arrive soon, and we can get that project actually finished. But anyway, I thought I'd just throw something up, let you have a look at me sorting this little radio out. So I will say I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching and goodbye.